Hello everyone, my name is Rupam and I am a practicing advocate with core expertise in arbitration and litigation of civil matters, including law governing companies. Today I am going to shed some light on the legal aspects which you must know if you own a company which is facing hard time in running its operations due to financial distress, uh, impact of pandemic situation on insolvency of companies. Now, can the COVID-19 pandemic lead certain companies to insolvency is what we are going to discuss here. The spread of COVID-19 has already resulted in an increase in companies experiencing financial difficulty as they try to reduce the financial impact of supply chain issues coupled with lower customer demand. The impact of COVID-19 has been substantial on certain industries such as civil, aviation, ports and airports, hospitality, tours and travels, and other retail, to name a few. There has also been a significant impact on the manufacturing industry due to a disruption in supply chain, unavailability of raw material, and a drop in demand. Now, due to this, we now see that many companies or their creditors are initiating insolvency proceedings. While larger companies are in a better position to deal with working capital requirements, which I think are likely to be worse on account of this pandemic, small and to medium enterprises, which we commonly call as SMEs, are likely to face a more challenging scenario. Therefore, a disruption in the operating capability of SMEs, because they're dependent on both demand and supply side, may result in them being disproportionately affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, specifically on operational and solvency concerns. Now, what are the relief measures which have come out for MSMEs? Now, we all know that the Ministry of Home Affairs on 24th March 2020 issued certain directions which resulted in closure of many government and private offices and other commercial establishment except few essential services. Now, as a result of this countrywide lockdown, many micro, small and medium enterprises, which we call as MSME, they have faced a threat of going out of business. Now, to reduce the panic among the MSME sector and also the threat of insolvency, few measures have been introduced for the companies likely to face this downturn. Among these measures were the increased threshold of invoking insolvency to rupees 1 crore. Earlier, this amount was rupees 1 lakh. And also the exclusion of the lockdown period from the 330-day timeline which has been prescribed under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, which is written as IBC in my slides. IBC is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, which governs all the insolvency proceedings. So this period of lockdown, exclusion of lockdown period from the 330-day timeline for the completion of the insolvency process. Now, as you can see, Section 4 of IBC provides for the threshold limits for initiating the insolvency proceeding. Exercising the powers conferred upon the central government under this Section 4, this central government has increased the minimum amount of default for the purpose of initiating insolvency proceeding to rupees 1 crore, which is the maximum threshold limit that the central government is anyway empowered to prescribe under the act. So the government has exercised that power given to it under the act. Now, which means that unless the debt amount is 1 crore or above, the creditors cannot proceed insolvency against a company. Further, a special provision, which is the Regulation 40C, has also been inserted in the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Regulations 2016 to exclude the lockdown period from the timelines prescribed under the IBC. Now, this is the same period of 330 days that I spoke earlier. Now, what does this mean? This means that the present timeline of 330 days prescribed in the proviso of Section 12 of the IPC for the insolvency resolution process would not include the ongoing lockdown period. This whole period of four lockdowns that we have seen, that entire period will be excluded in the completion of the insolvency proceedings. That has to be done within 330 days as per Section 12 of the IBC. Now, further, we see that recently in a suo motu action, the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal, so they, in a very recent case, they have held they've held that the period of lockdown ordered by the central government and the state government, including the period as may be extended, shall be excluded for the purpose of counting the period for resolution process under section 12 of IBC. Now, also in all cases where the insolvency process has been initiated and pending. Now, the also what has been held in this case is that the interim stay ordered in all pending case shall continue till their next dates. So, the new provision which the government has introduced on 24th March has already been implemented in this case by the company law tribunal. Then we come to the what is the implications of increased threshold limit that we have just seen in the last slide. Section 7 of the IBC provides for initiation of the insolvency process against a debtor by the financial creditor, where a default would include a default in respect of a financial debt owed not only to the applicant financial creditor but to any other financial creditor. Now, there is a slight difference between Section 7 and Section 8 of IBC. Now, Section 8 talks about the provision for debt owed to operational creditors, whereas Section 7 talks about the financial creditor. Section 8 provides that an operational creditor may, on the occurrence of a default, deliver a demand notice of unpaid operational debtor copy of an invoice demanding payment of the amount involved in the default to the corporate debtor in such form and manner as may be prescribed. Now, in the absence of a provision of joint action by operation creditors, the increased threshold limit of rupees 1 crore would, essentially drive out the operational creditors from the domain of IBC, as most of the operational debts would fail to meet the 1 crore mark individually, especially when we talk about the MSMEs. In case of when the creditors have to bring a joint action, which is under Section 7, the threshold of 1 crore can still be met. But in case of a single action by an operational creditor, it's very difficult to reach the mark of 1 crore. And then there is another aspect to it, which is for the proceedings against individuals. Now, the threshold limits pertaining to personal guarantors are mentioned under Part 3 of the IBC, which is the insolvency resolution and bankruptcy for individuals and partnership firms. This has been totally untouched by the new order of the government, which came out on 24th March. Section 78 of the IBC, I would like to point out, deals with the threshold limit for initiating insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings against individuals. Now, the minimum amount of default for initiation of insolvency resolution against personal guarantors of these corporate debtors continues to be fixed at the same amount, now which is 1000 rupees. Consequently, while the revised threshold limits have made it difficult to initiate insolvency proceedings against MSME, the application for initiation of insolvency proceedings against the personal guarantors of such MSME might witness an increase in number. Now, since the threshold limit still remains at a lesser amount of 1000 rupees, it is possible that even during this pandemic, the insolvency proceedings against these personal guarantors, individuals can increase as compared to the companies. Then we discuss about what is the effect on pending and future cases, effect of these relief measures which the government has introduced. Now, this first and foremost, this notification dated 24th March 2020 does not provide for retrospective applications of the revised limit, which means that the new threshold of 1 crore would not apply to cases which are already pending. The new application seeking commencement of insolvency proceedings will have to now meet the revised criteria of default of this minimum 1 crore by the corporate debtor. All the insolvency proceedings which have been pending, they are not covered under this new notification of the government. Also, the financial distress may also pose difficulty for companies already going insolvency proceedings to complete the process within the period of 330 days mandate in the section 12 of the IBC, even after exclusion of the lockdown period. So, this effect of the completion of the proceeding within the timelines is going to be very difficult. Now, then we see this case in which this is the case of Committee of Creditors of SR Steel India Limited versus Satish Kumar Gupta. The Supreme Court in this case struck down the word mandatorily, which has been used in Section 12. Now, we discussed it above that the timeline period has been mandated in Section 12. So, the Supreme Court had, in this case, struck down this word mandatorily used in Section 12 as being excessive and unreasonable on the litigant's right to carry on business under Article 19(1)(g) of the Constitution. Now, further, in view of the current uncertainty, the companies that are presently undergoing the insolvency proceedings, would find it difficult to attract resolution applicants. In cases where a resolution plan has been submitted and it is pending approval of the creditors or the authority, one can seek modification of the resolution plans already submitted or cancellation of the process of finalization, as the valuation and viability of business is likely to be affected due to the COVID-19 outbreak. Although there is no provision in the IBC that allows to modify or withdraw a resolution plan which is pending, but very interestingly, the National Company Law Tribunal, in a case called State Bank of India versus Metallist Forgings Limited, allowed the prayer of a resolution applicant seeking cancellation of the process of submission of the resolution plan on the basis of the viability of the business. This was also upheld by the appellant tribunal, holding that no authority can compel specific performance of a plan by an unwilling resolution applicant. So this can be in favor of the MSMEs. Now, I would like to conclude by saying that if the current situation continues, or as we see it is worsen, we may see more insolvency cases coming. The exclusion of the lockdown period and the increased threshold limit are welcome steps taken by the legislature to ensure that the MSMEs have enough cushion to recover from the financial stress that this COVID-19 pandemic has caused, and would also declutter the cases under IBC by filtering out the frivolous ones, since the new relief measures that have come out. The low threshold of rupees 1 lakh, which was previously criticized for pushing an otherwise strong enterprise into liquidation for a default of a small amount at the instance of a single operational creditor. Now, this revised threshold is seen as a positive move, as it curtails the expansive powers of operational creditors who were more interested in recovery rather than resolution. So that is a very good step for MSMEs for their survival. Also, remember that the operational creditors do not stand to benefit in case a company undergoes liquidation, as they're below the financial creditors in the line of proportional repayment. Now, however, in cases where there is a personal guarantee, mostly given by the promoters or directors, it might still be used as a mechanism for recovery, as the limit for initiation of the proceedings had not proportionately been increased and could possibly be a route that may be used to put pressure on the companies. Earlier, what we were seeing used to happen with the companies, that the creditors would rather use these insolvency proceedings as a way to recover their money and put pressures on the company. That has been changed by these new measures taken by the government. But for the personal guarantors and for individuals, that still remains. There can still be pressure, and there can still be more cases seen. Nevertheless, in these trying times, the new measures which the government has adopted, introduced, would, I think, prove to be beneficial for resurrection of the enterprises facing this downturn. After all, the key objective of the IBC is to ensure that the corporate debtors keep operating as a going concern. One more thing is, in the context of payment defaults, creditors, both operational as well as financial, now we'll need to evaluate and assess their respective options. Specifically under these current circumstances, it's very important to evaluate and assess your respective options, what all options you have if you are a creditor. Lenders are also likely to assess whether enforcing security or initiating insolvency proceeding is the most feasible outcome or not. Uh, Therefore, while insolvency is a legal option available to creditors, it is unlikely that they will resort to it in the first instance now, only because of the 1 crore revision that we discussed above, and also the 330-day period which has been now changed. Now, companies suffering or anticipating solvency issues should consider proactively engaging with their lenders and other stakeholders to negotiate waivers or restructuring wherever required to ensure continuity of business. Contractual waivers and forbearance options, they all must be now explored. And well, that's all. And thank you for watching this video. And do let me know your feedbacks or comments either at my LinkedIn or shoot an email on the given links you will find on the slide. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Madam Attorney, to keep yourself legally apprised. Thank you.